Hi, my name is Kate. I'm also known as Two Little Kits, and welcome to my FlossTube. I have a finished piece to share. I've got progress on works in progress that you've seen recently, and I have a lot of new patterns that I purchased. Oops. But let's get started. Alright, I'm gonna have to get up because Zoe the cat seems to want to leave the room and the door's closed. Okay, I want to start this FlossTube off properly with pointing out my amazing hoodie that I got this week. I think it was this week. It was since the last FlossTube. I'm obsessed. I don't know if you know, I haven't really mentioned it, I don't think, but I adore the TV show Bluey. I think it's amazing, especially as an adult. I discovered that they had a merch shop, like the actual show has a merch shop through the BBC website. And so I got this, and so it's bingo. It says I slipped on my beans. I'm not going to explain it. Oh, it also has a thing of beans on the sleeve. I'm not going to explain it. I highly recommend watching the show, even if you don't have kids. It's a really good show for both kids and adults. So I'm obsessed with this hoodie, and it needs a wash. I've already got a stain on it. Go me. Anyway, why don't we start off with something more relevant? I think I want to start off with my works in progress, and I want to specifically start off with the Heaven and Earth Designs stitch along. I feel like it gets put to the wayside a little bit because it's in that bag, and yeah, I don't know. I want to do it first in a nutshell. So this is where I'm at. I can't remember where the end, like the bottom of the first page is, but I've definitely crept into pages at the bottom here. I'm getting close, like this side is close to the end of the second page. I'm excited. How many stitches? I wrote it down. I'm at 11,208 stitches out of 88,650. So I'm 12.64% of the way through the piece. As of today, when I'm recording this, which is the 20th of February, in the Facebook group for this stitch along, there's already someone who has finished this pattern, the Fairytale pattern. She posted about it today, and I'm just like, oh my god, that's crazy. So yeah, that's where I'm at. I really enjoy working on this piece. It's a different challenge from what I'm used to regarding stitching. I am thinking I'm gonna actually turn my Q-snap, so I'm working on it this way, and that way it might actually fit the entire width of the piece in that. I don't think it will, but it might. So I'm gonna try that. I don't know if I'll like it, but we'll see. But I am gonna have to figure out something soon with the extra floss down the bottom here, and at least move it over this way, even if I keep it vertical, because I'm running out of room to stitch. And my plan is to do the entire top roughly to the end of the first page, and then work my way down. Hopefully that makes sense. So yeah, let me know what you think. And if you're doing one of the Heaven and Earth Designs stitch alongs for 2026, let me know which one you're doing and how you're going. Okay, my next work in progress is my Flower Prairie, which is exciting because not today, but the 2 days before, we had snow. So I've been able to stitch a teensy little bit of snow flowers, but that's where I'm at for it. And so it's really hard to see with this fabric color, but this one and this one, they have this tiny little bit of snow on them. It didn't really stick, like it snowed, but it didn't really snow properly. It just was a little bit, and it did stick to the ground a tiny bit, but like it kind of just looked like frost. But it was snowing, so I'm counting it. So that's where I'm at, and officially on the third row. So yay! And it'll look better once it's all taut as well, because that looks a bit janky. All right, what's next? My next work in progress is coming along very nicely. It's my Zodiac Pisces piece. I just finished today all of the blue inside. So I like to work from the darkest, with this gradient that I do the darkest to the lightest. So it goes like and then it goes meow. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, so I finished the blue, and all that's left to do now is the gray, the two grays. So there's There's a thick grey and then a thin grey, which is just 2 different strand amounts, and then the white, which will be in like in here, and the eyes and the word Pisces and the outline around the edge. So it's really close to being done, and this one will be released on the 2nd, so it'll be next week that it comes out. I was hoping to get it done before this FlossTube, but I've just been enjoying working on the Heaven and Earth Designs piece too much, so. But I'm still on time. I'm not concerned. All right, my next work in progress is this one here, which I keep forgetting which way is the top. There's this little piece here, which is Sunflowers by Van Gogh, and the pattern is by the Stitch Patterns. As I said in a previous FlossTube, this one just lives at my desk and I work on it when I'm in appointments, and I got a lot done in the last 2 weeks because I had a bunch of appointments. I think I'm maybe close to being done all the yellows. I think I've got like 1 more yellow to go. Anyway, and my last work in progress is Extraordinary Birds by Lola Crow, which is here. I have actually done quite a bit on this in the last 2 weeks. I just finished this guy up here, like all of it. So I just finished, I think that was part 8. I'm gonna just have a peek. Yeah, part 8, and so the next one is actually, the next one is the peacock. Oh, now I'm excited. Yeah, so here's the peacock. I'll show you back up. So it's super pretty. So I'll be doing that, and that's a buttload of back stitching, but it'll totally be worth it. I don't remember where it actually goes, but I'll find out soon enough. So yeah, I finished, since the last FlossTube, I finished the top of the tree. And that's right, so I was working on the toucan and this guy down here. I was just finishing up the back stitching, so I finished that, and then the top of the tree and these 2 birds here was the next part, and then this one was a really quick one, which was the one I just finished. And yeah, so I've done all of the back stitching. I'm like staying on top of the back stitching because I learned that the hard way with a different stitch along, actually by Lola Crow as well. The Haunted Library, I didn't do any of the back stitching, and I haven't finished it with the cross stitching yet, but I'm really dreading getting to the point where all that's left is back stitching for that. But that's on the back burner. That's actually this project bag here. But I'll get to it one day because it's really good. With that one, I'm still really bummed out that I did it on 14 count and not 18 count. Oh well. So that's all my works in progress. I don't have any designs. Actually, no, I do have one design I can show you. I was working on a cross stitch pattern that will be upcoming, and I will be asking one of my test stitchers to do, because she's done all of the others in the same series, which is Jessica. The piece is going to be called Deserving Joy. I'm definitely figuring out the flowers for that, because all the flowers in that series are all different from each other. And so I was working on it, I think yesterday or the day before, or both, I can't remember. And I'm sitting on it for a bit, and I'm gonna look at it again in like a day or 2 and see if I still like the way the flowers look. That'll be coming at some point, so stay tuned. It's definitely not done from what you can see. It's still very much a work in progress, but I would love your thoughts on it, so let me know what you think. I think the next thing I should talk about is the finished piece that I have, because you might be wondering where it was from my works in progress. I didn't want to share it first because I'm actually still waiting for it to dry. I actually spritzed it with water instead of properly washing it. I was just trying to get the grid to come off before I shared it with you, so it is a little damp still. Not a lot, but just a tiny bit damp. I am super happy to say that I finished Flower Dragon Meadow by FlossyFoxShop, and I did in the end go ahead and redo the little strawberry looking dragon. So this is how it looks, and this is the little dragon that I redid. It took me about just under 2 hours to unpick and redo, not including design time. That probably took me like 20 minutes to design it, which was, yeah, super easy because I just picked colors from this and used the exact same design that she'd done for the dragon. So that wasn't terribly difficult, but it's done. It's all finished. Isn't it beautiful? And I would love to know what you think about this little yellow guy up here. I think it's perfect. I definitely liked the red. That's why it took me so long just umming and ahhing about whether or not I wanted to go through the chore of unpicking it and redoing it, because I did like the little red guy, but I honestly think the yellow guy is so cute and so perfect. Definitely redoing this one over this one was the right idea, just because of the composition of the yellows within the piece. The other thing I did actually was this little flower up here. This was a yellow flower. I didn't want to have the yellow dragon and a yellow flower, so I actually did the same reds that the dragon was in that flower. So technically it's not just a dragon that I redid, it was also one little flower too. So let me know what you think. You can get this pattern still. She doesn't take them down when the stitch along's all done. It's all finished. Yay! I'm gonna be in so much trouble when she does another stitch along because I love her patterns. She has two distinct styles and I don't really like one of the styles. That was the Pixel Dragon stitch along that she had where everything's outlined. So I've got it on a coat hanger because I'm letting it dry. Yeah, that was the one I was gonna do, and I did quite a bit of it, and then I realized once a couple of the parts had been released and I was getting further and further behind, and I realized the reason I was getting further and further behind was because I wasn't enjoying it. I didn't really like how it looked. So yeah, fun fact for you there. So if she does another stitch along, which I would assume she will, they must be really good for business. I haven't done a stitch along like that before. If she does another one, I kind of hope it's that style because then I can catch up on other things. We'll see. All right, the next thing that I want to chat about is the new pattern that I have available on my website. And I'm really pleased that it's available and done because I wanted to do it a few months ago. I just was focused on other stuff basically. But it's this piece here. So this is called Boy Band. It is the Saja Boys from K-pop Demon Hunters movie. I think it's great. I love it. I hope you do too. I am kind of bummed that I didn't, where is it? Oh, I don't know where it is, but I'm kind of bummed that I did the no hiding pattern, which is the Huntrix pattern. I framed it on a board instead of in a hoop because I feel like these would be really cute to be able to show off together if they were in hoops together. And this piece doesn't lend well to framing in a frame unless it's a custom frame, just because it is so long. I was actually thinking that I might release two versions of this. So one with the people, like one like this with its like very horizontal, and one with the boys and then stuff underneath. So it's sort of like squished up and more rectangular, more square than rectangular. I don't know. I thought about it after I did the pattern release, but let me know what you think of this. It's available on my website and also on my Etsy and my Ko-fi stores if you prefer to shop on there. I did manage to get one new blog post on my website this past fortnight. I actually have a couple in the works. I need to sit down and take a bunch of photos for them because they're kind of photo reliant before I can post them. I haven't really had time and I'll explain that in a little bit. But I did release one which is called, let me open the thing up, Needle Minders, the tiny personal magnetic tool that every stitcher needs. It's another beginner oriented one where it just basically talks about needle minders and why they're great and why you should consider them. It's pretty self-explanatory in my opinion. I'd love for you to check it out and let me know what you think. So I did get some new things, not physical things though. I was talking about FlossyFoxShop and the patterns that she makes, and I have talked about her in length extensively in the past. I really love her style. I love the kinds of patterns that she makes. She held a sale, so I bought a bunch of new patterns. So I bought 6 new patterns of hers. 5 of them are what I would consider in the magic collection because they're all like something magic. And there's one that's a post-apocalypse fantasy piece. And that one's really cool because it comes in 3 different color styles. I know which one I'm going to do, and I'm actually thinking that I'm going to put together a work in progress bag for it now that I've finished Flower Dragon Meadow, because I really like that one, and it's very grungy kind of style, and I don't know, I really want to work on that. I think it'd be really cool. I may actually have a good piece of fabric up there for it already. Yeah. So there's the post-apocalypse fantasy piece. There's book magic, garden magic, moss magic, Rainbow Magic, and Swamp Magic. And I will have put all of the pictures for them up on the screen so you can see them. Yeah, I've got a lot of her patterns. If you want to see all the patterns that I have planned to work on and my collection that is growing of future whips, check out the description. I have a link to my works in progress page where you can actually click on the links and see all the patterns that I've purchased that I want to stitch, and you can get them for yourself as well if you want to. The other thing that I got was more patterns, and this was like a happy accident. Instagram showed me a new account that I'd never heard of before, which is called, I think, nathnolu, and I might be saying that wrong, so I apologize if I am, but they have a little series of forest animals doing crafty things. And I was just like, oh my God, because the one that I saw was a little fox. I'm like, I have to get that. And then I saw that there was an owl and that there was a raven and then there was a badger. I'm like, oh my God. And they're all doing different things and I love them so much. So I got all 4 of them. So there's a quilting fox, a stitching owl, a knitting raven, and a reading badger. So that happened, and they're not too small, and I'm definitely going to start with the fox. So yeah, but I'm going to find a really, really big piece of fabric and stitch them all on the same cut of fabric, not to keep together, but so that they're all on the same colored fabric, because I want them to be a little series somewhere in my house. I haven't figured that out. I need to figure out the size of fabric, and I'll be going to the little craft store that's like a hole in the wall place that is in like the suburb over from where I live. I'll probably have to get like a custom cut of fabric for it because it'll be huge, but it'll be worth it. It'll be worth it. So yeah, I'll be doing those, and I will probably honestly put together the project bag for one of those soon as well. So yeah, I can't help myself. I can't help myself. But that's all the things I bought, thankfully. The last thing that I want to talk about that's stitchy related before I chat about stuff that's happened IRL is I got an invitation to come to StitchCon for the weekend B, which is June 18 to 22, I think it is. Let me just confirm. June 18 to 21, sorry. So it's a Thursday to a Sunday. I may not be able to stay to all, if any, of the Sunday day. I'm trying to figure out flights, but I paid for my ticket. I am super pumped. I couldn't do the weekend A because that's actually the weekend that my kids' birthdays is. Well, my kids' birthdays aren't on the weekend, but they're the Thursday and Friday of that weekend for StitchCon. And there was no way I was going to go away for their birthdays, because especially since my youngest will be turning 10 this year, I don't want to miss their birthdays regardless of how old they turn. But yeah, so I was very, very happy that they had 2 weekends that they were doing it, and that weekend that I am going to go to is during summer holidays. So I don't know, I'm just like, it's all lining up. I'm excited. I have been planning already on what I want to pack, and I even got a new tripod, which I'm going to show off in the next FlossTube because it should arrive by then, and a cool accessory for it, which I will explain when I get it to, so that I can record myself stitching and just the stuff that's going on, and potentially make like a video about it or just social media things about it. So I'm excited. I haven't gone away on a trip by myself for ages now. My last trip was a birthday trip. I think it was 2024 or maybe even 2023. I can't remember. And that was only for 2 nights. This is going to be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, nights, because because it is in Ohio and I'm in Washington, so the flight there, I have to think about the fact that when I leave here, I'm jumping across a bunch of time zones and it's basically going to take me all day to fly. So I'm going to be hopefully leaving in the morning and arriving in the afternoon, like late afternoon, even though I only fly for like 4 hours. So I'm excited. I have no idea what to expect really there, but I'm hoping to maybe meet some people and maybe make some friends. Crazy, I know, me making friends. If you are going to the weekend B of StitchCon, please jump in the comments and let me know. That would be amazing. I have plans actually to potentially make some needle minders to give away, because there is a swap table there where you can give things that you either don't want or that you have made to give out and like promote yourself. So I'm planning on like making a design for a card with like a QR code or something to my website, or even just my FlossTube, and a needle minder that's like the little tail of my logo or something like that. I'm not sure, but I have ideas and I have time to do it. I'm excited. So yeah, on that note, IRL stuff. The reason that I have been too busy to take photos for these blog posts that I mentioned is because it's midwinter break this week, which cool. Feels like my kids have barely been at school for 2026, and that's always how it feels at this point of the year. But it is what it is. They'll be back to school on Monday. Hooray. And that's why I'm recording this late in the afternoon. I do need to wrap up because it's getting late. But yeah, so they're on winter break and I've been doing a bunch of stitching, just chilling on the couch with my oldest, who's been like playing on the TV or scrolling on a phone or just chilling basically. She's definitely turning into a teenager. And my youngest has been pottering around the house with doing crafts and having play dates, and yeah, so that's been nice. The last week, so the week before midwinter break started, my husband was in San Francisco, so that was fun. Thankfully, he left during the day on Monday and came back sort of mid-afternoon, sort of mid to late afternoon on Thursday. So it wasn't the entire week. That was nice. So he was back before dinner time and the craziness of bedtime on Thursday. So yeah, it could have been worse. Yeah, it's always different. There's a different vibe when it's just three of us and he's away. So I was happy for him to come back home. And the last thing was Valentine's Day. I got a very lovely bouquet of flowers that I asked desperately not for because they're so expensive, but I do love flowers and I love getting flowers. I just hate how expensive they are. And some other stuff that I'm not going to mention because reasons, but we had a lovely day and I made my husband's favorite meal for dinner and the girls hated it. But he and I loved it. It's just so fiddly. It's chicken parmigiana, in case you know what I'm talking about. It's just really fiddly, but it's worth putting in the effort on a day like that. So yeah, that's everything. Oh, the other thing that I did, I had to send through mine and my girls' passport stuff again for our Australian passports, and I finally got around to doing that, so hooray for me, pat on the back. So fingers crossed for me that those get approved this time, because I don't want to have to do that again. But I did buy some extra envelopes in case I needed to send them again. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Please jump in the comments and let me know what you're working on and the answers to the questions that I asked. I really appreciate you being here and liking the video and subscribing. Please subscribe if you're not already. It's free and you can change your mind after if you want to. But until next time, I will see you around the internet. Bye!